All right, so we've got blue-black today. Obviously, what we have in front of us is the black-white version. We're going to now convert this to the final color combination that we have yet to play here on the stream. We have done a Rakdos full league, a black-white full league, a green-black full league, which leaves us with, you could argue mono-black, but we like the color combination. So ignoring the mono-black, we're going to go to blue-black today. So let's make blue-black a thing. We're going to use the template that we've gotten from the black-white list, as we think it's one of the stronger ones, and begin converting it. So we have a lot of white cards that we need to drop here, and that shouldn't take us too long here. We'll entertain Dam as well, and then we have plenty of white cards here. We'll see if we stay into Luris or if we do something a little bit different. I have a feeling we're going to do something a little bit different. So first thing that comes to mind is Spell Stutter Sprite, a 4 of Spell Stutter Sprite. You're in fairies. We're probably going to do fairy type of things here. So why not bring in the namesake counter spell based Spell Stutter Sprite? Works well with Bitter Blossom. So we'll start there. There has been a request to get Una's Blackguard in here. So this is basically an anthem type of effect. I don't know if I'll do all 4, maybe 3, but this one is flying. Each other rogue creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter. Whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter deals damage, target opponent discards cards. So that's kind of interesting. Although it doesn't really synergize with the fairy on that side, it does synergize with the Bitter Blossom, because the Bitter Blossom creates fairy rogues. So we're going to see how that goes. We'll probably, like I said, maybe not do all 4, maybe 2 to 3 of these. All right, what else does blue get us? Blue gets us Fallen Shinobi. I kind of like that idea. Roses are red. Eldrazi are scary. Opponent called Judge. Yes, Bitter Blossoms are fairies. Kind of like an idea of a Fallen Shinobi. We have a lot of black cards here. Let's go ahead and cut all the white cards so I can kind of start to see what we've got. I don't know if I'm playing Dam or not, or if I'm going to play something different. Like I said, I think Una's needs to be 3 of, maybe 4 of. All right, Yoshi, thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate it. And if you're not already, go follow Yoshi. There's some sweet stuff over there. Hades, Arena, who knows what you'll run into. Once again, thank you for the raid. Let's see here. So the big question is, how do we want to play this? I think we want to be a little more counterspell heavy. I'm really, I like the idea of the cryptic command being suggested. I am a little bit worried to play 3-pipped cards here. So I'm not so sure about that. I do like the idea of Drown the Lock. Definitely Drown in the Lock. Let's grab the other version so that be good there. We may not have to do so much Village Rites because we can convert this to some other draw engine. Dam might not be needed anymore. We'll think on that. You now have something like a Mistbind Click, which is an interesting card. Hasn't seen a lot of play. You have things like Vendilion. You have Brazen Borrower. It's a fairy rogue. Ninjutsu. I think there's some ninjutsu cards. I just don't know if they make sense. I don't even think this is right. Could be wrong. The Shinobi, I think, is where we want to be. Let's stick with the Shinobi. We got Archmage, Archmage Charm. We have, what else? Archmage Charm. Good old just flat out counter spell. We have things like Remand as well, which doesn't seem so bad. Tempoing an opponent by 1 turn is probably not a bad idea with the list. After all, the list is... It's likely that we're going to play a longer game, but also just the Remand and having a few Bitter Blossoms or something like that may be good enough. So these are some of the things we could do. It's just a matter of what do we want to do? Do we want to be very counterspell heavy, or do we want to lean really hard into the fairy idea with Meathook? Is this one of the times where, yeah, we might play 3 to 4 Meathooks, but we start cutting a couple Blood Artists with the idea that we're going to play more of like, hey, we're going to play some fairies and pick people off, kind of damage by damage. We can play Snapcaster in this. We could look for 1-drop fairies. Notorious Throng. Tribal Sorcery Rogue. Okay, it's a 4-drop. It's Sorcery. Prowls. Create X. Fairy Rogue creature tokens with flying, where X is the damage dealt to your opponent this turn. Spell's prowl cost is paid. Take an extra turn after this. I feel like this is a little too gimmicky. Like, if we top deck this, it does nothing if we don't have like a board state. And it's very possible we don't have a board state because we're still doing the Meathook Massacre combination here. Your mic sounds kind of off tonight. It seems like your voice is choppy or it mutes. We can fix it like that. I just noticed that it was picking up a lot more than it normally does, Uncle DB. So we flipped it, so now it shouldn't be cutting off. But thanks for the call out. Did I change the mic? I changed the filter on the mic, because the filter broke and it was going to the max volume again. Okay. I think the spice here is really misbuying click, because this is essentially a tempo, because it taps all your opponent's lands. You can do this on their upkeep, and then this also lets you get rid of Bitter Blossom. It gets rid of 1 fairy because you're championing just a fairy. So I think that's our spice in this list. I think Fallen Shinobi is a pretty good spice card as well, if I'm gonna be honest. I think I'm gonna drop Una's Blackguard down to 2. Go down to 2. One thing I could take out is almost all the village rights. Let's put those off to the side really briefly. If I did that, I don't necessarily need to be all in on like Vendilion Kick, Brazen Borrower and stuff like that, but I can definitely go a few more counters that would draw me cards. I like the idea of Counterspell here as a 2 of. So let's grab a second Counterspell. I believe I own some of those. So we have 2 counter spells. I don't think Remand needs to be in hand here. We'll take it out. I like the idea of maybe an extra Brazen Borrower as a bit of a tempo play, kind of building this up as tempo. Cryptic Command, 1 more might not be a bad idea. And then like 2 Archmage, with maybe Archmage Charm having some slots in the sideboard. We're gonna have to be careful though, because having 3 blue and double black, our mana base is gonna hurt. What if I took 2 Blood Artists out this time around? I have 4 Inquisitions. We don't really have any other 1-drops here, and I'm wondering if we should have something a little more spicy here. The one slot. We don't really have any like filtering. 5-color Meathook. Just Changeling. Just there's like a 1-mana Changeling, right? Like Changeling Outcast. Well, what about just playing the actual fairy to get the scry out of our play? There's a 1-drop, excuse me. There's a 1-drop fairy, the Fairy Seer, scry 2. This would draw a card, but I like the idea of Fairy Seer. Plays into our 1-drops for Meathook. Gives us a blocker, gives us something in the air. Man, I feel like this is one of the weakest cards in here. We could also just play like a pair of Inquisitions. Maybe I also don't need as many Fallen Shinobis here. Maybe I'd take 1 Fallen Shinobi out. Let's put the Unas just off to the side briefly. How's this looking? This is starting to look interesting. Fairy Seer for scry, Changeling for unblockable. I like the scry then a little bit better. We're gonna have plenty of tokens typically that are unblockable. I almost would rather play like a Serum Visions or an Opt over a Consider. We don't really want things going to our graveyard necessarily. Unless we were going to play maybe some Snapcasters. Maybe Brazen Borrower is a sideboard card. Maybe Vendilion Click really is a sideboard card. Maybe not. Right now we're at 60. 60 with only 21 lands though. Blue-black wanting to get to 3 or 4. Maybe wants 1 more land in this build. Let's start fixing our mana base while we think of other options for our main board. 1, 2, 3, 4. Watery Graves, replace the Godless Shrines. Let's get all my polluted deltas. Probably keep the Marsh Flats. Let's get a couple islands, a couple swamps. This is where I'm kind of torn because I wouldn't mind 3 islands. Urborg's probably fine. Westvale Abbey's probably okay. Creeping Tar Pit is probably okay because we've had a 1 of in these lists for a while now, so get a 1 of that in. Westvale, Silent Clearing needs to be changed to. Is there a blue-black land that you draw with? We could do 1 less draw on the lock. Let's just put it off to the side for right now. For the land, Viridian. Oh yeah, RK, it's Hook again. I'm trying to remember if there is a blue-black land that draws. Modern. Only allied. Okay. So maybe we don't even bother with that style. Let's do a... What do we want? Drowned Catacomb, I think, is the card. No, there's a blue-black fast land, Dark Slick. Thank you. Both start with D. Let's grab maybe 2 of those. Let's see here. I want to get up to 22. So there's 3 more to go here. Marsh Flats is okay in this build, I think. You can go get like 1 Steam Vents, or not Steam Vents, Scalding Tarn, or Misty. I like Misty. Misty Art's cool. What are we at? 20? 2 more. Spreading Seas in the side. That's probably not a bad idea. There are plenty of problematic things. Grab a pair of those. MH1 gave us the enemy canopy lands. That's what I... only allied land. Oh, only allied land is Horizon. Okay. I'm following now. We probably should. The only reason to do it the way I did it is just so that you have enough black sources to get 1 black at least if you needed it. Where if you have the like Misty plus all the polluted deltas gets blue, so you could get islands in the face of Blood Moon, where the Marsh Flats plus all the polluted deltas, so it gives you 5 and 5. Most of the time we're going to fetch a Watery Grave off of these cards. Westvale Abbey might be pushing it just slightly here because of cards like Archmage Charm. I mean, it might be just Drowned Catacombs. Just 1 or 2 of those. Most of the time, those should be completely fine and should come into play without a problem. You could do one of the pathways as well. You could do whichever pathway it is. It gives you blue and black. Clear water or something? Yeah. We could do clear water. That might be better than Drowned Catacomb. The Drowned Catacomb gives you both. Let's do 1 and 1 just for the fun of having 1-ofs. What do we think of this 60? We've got a 60, a lot faster than we did with the black-white one. Yeah, I haven't played with the pathways enough, other than I know Needle Verge or something like that. And Bright Climb. Bright Climb's the black-white one, and the Needle is the red-white one, Needle Verge. I happen to have played with those enough. Clinging to Dust is definitely a consideration for the sideboard. I was about to probably put that in. We can start looking at the sideboard a little bit. Obviously, we don't have white, so we get to cut all that good stuff here. Probably not Laris in this build. We're thinking Village Rites is probably a no-go. Blood Artist is probably a no-go in this build as well. All right, Una's. I know we said we would at least consider it. We have a Fairy Wizard. This is a Fairy Wizard. This is a Fairy Wizard. This makes Fairy Rogues. I think it's a little too narrow. Have you changed your mic setup? You're the second person that's asked. No, I haven't changed anything. Is it vastly that different? I'm kind of concerned now. Well, I changed the filter and then put it back. It's a digital filter on the OBS. It sounds a bit echoey. Really? Well, you're getting my computer now because for whatever reason it won't suppress my background. Here, let's do this. That's the wrong direction. You know what? I'm going to remove the filter. Sometimes removing the filter and then putting it back puts it back to how it was. It was negative 25. All right, no filter. Filter, noise suppression. Done. And a CPU at negative 25. Done. Now let's see. What's up, Thal? It's fixed now? Like it'll happen. It's just the fans over here. Occasionally the mic picks it up and I had to adjusted it. It's a window unit. So this is better now. The hall, all right, whatever. I literally deleted the filter and put it back. Fish tank air pump. I mean, that wouldn't have been bad. That wouldn't have been bad. All right, what are we thinking about for our sideboard here? We got a lot of things. I think it was the subscribe. That's what probably fixed it. So thank you for subscribing. Oh, I have 3 dams hidden over here. Oh, I don't want these. We have 3 more cards we can put in here. Look at that. We got so much room. It's present when I'm quiet. Well, it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be because I probably need to relook at the options for a mic. I like the mic. The problem is it picks up the computer. And I like but hate it. I don't know. If I have access to NVIDIA broadcast, I will, let me note that down in my mod section. NVIDIA broadcast recommendation for sound issues. All right, what are we doing again? What GPU do I have? A 1070. It's getting old, like me. One more counter. I like one more seer. That or an Inquisition. Maybe even a main deck cling. Cling to Dust is okay. It's like a draw. How about one main deck cling, one more seer. Let's put in one more counter spell as well. Do we want a counter spell or do we want like a cryptic or an archmage? You want to main deck the borrower? We can main deck the borrower also. That's an option. Do we like our blood artist? I think we do. I think we do enough. The question is, do I want 4 Meathooks or 3? I could potentially cut 1 here and add Shinobi back in. Be a little more on the fairy side with this kind of like, or like cut like the blood artist here. Go 1 more Shinobi and go 1 more, I don't know. Like really like give it a shot at trimming the artist completely. That's interesting. I don't know. These dams can go away. All right, we have Graveyard Hate. We have main deck Graveyard Hate. We have Tron or multi-spell hate. We have Land Hate, which could be Tron-based token, small creature, problematic enchantments, life gain. More counters. I'm not so convinced at those. Drown the Lock. I almost feel like I know the black card went out. I almost feel like a Planeswalker might be a good idea here. If I am not running Laris, I would run 4 Meathooks. Aethergust? Man, Aethergust hasn't been played a lot. Aethergust is an interesting one. There is red in the format. Some green. Got fatal pushes. Maybe I need another couple removals. I have the Drown, so I guess that's good with the Brazen Borrowers. Vendilion Click's probably our weakest fairy right now. Is there anything interesting from Modern Horizons 2 that we are not considering here? Advanced search. Set Modern Horizons 2. Legal and modern, so in case anything was banned. Blue and black in colors. Let's actually do blue and black. A new planeswalker. Let's do blue, black, and rare mythic. Archon, counterspell we obviously have in here. Damn, braids. No, braids isn't good. Maybe not. Maybe not. Voidwalker's not a bad one we haven't really considered here. Actually, Voidwalker might be better than our Soul Guide. What if we went Voidwalker sideboard instead of Soul Guide Lantern? Gets through. Shinobi likes that. Kind of deals with the graveyard. Maybe. Let me know what you think. We've got Grief. I don't think this is a Grief list. Got Maggots of the Bridge. Don't think it's that kind of list. Persist, Bidding, Subtly, Suspend, Thopter. Torok, I don't think belongs in this list. Void Mirror. I don't think Grief belongs in here. I don't want to play Grief today. I like the Voidwalker. One of Murktide would be kind of hilarious. I feel like Village Rites could still be good. It definitely could be. I think it's actually very good. And I'd be happy to put it back in as like a 2 of. We do have 60 cards, so let's keep in mind that. You think the green one was very tight? I think the green one was the worst one so far. I kind of like the Voidwalker out here. I do like Narset. I do like Ashiok. Actually, I kind of like Narset mainboarded. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal non-creature. We have Counter, Bitter Blossom, Meathook, Cryptic Archmage. Maybe it doesn't hit as much. But yeah, maybe it should just be Ashiok. Actually, let's think here. If we were to run into Hammer Time, we have Engineered Explosives, Removal, Counter Spells. Okay. If we run into Footfalls, we have Engineered Explosive, Counter Spells, Fatal Pushes. If we run into Burn, that's what I'm probably the most worried about. Maybe I should have a little more life gain. I should have a little more. How did the green one perform? It got a 2/3 and didn't perform very well. Like, it was close, but it felt like we had to really work for it. You built Jun's Saga yesterday, so you're telling me I should play extra Spreading Seas? You could absolutely do a Pox effect in a Meathook list. You probably could do that in black-white or just mono-black. Affinity Plan. We don't have much for artifacts, do we? Blue-black does not really interact with artifacts very well. Maybe I just want a Damnation, you know? When you think about it, we don't have a mass removal effect except for like Meathook. Maybe we just want the Damnation. You know? Jace is our best walker if we're looking for one of those. Maybe we just don't play a walker. I mean, like, you probably play a walker over Mistbind and Vendilion Click, but you know. Why not have a little fun? Pox, Hook, 8-rack. All right, Dave B, you're maybe convincing us to play mono black at some point. What do we think? This is close enough? Oh, I hate River of Tears. Hercules Recall is actually not a bad idea. Hercules Recall. Do I like that over Damnation here? I got enough counters. Maybe I drop one Archmage Charm and put like a Force in. like just a random force, maybe. And then we can get rid of what? I almost don't like the engineered, but maybe I get rid of one engineered. Engineered's like the wrath for like really tiny decks. I like it. Force. You know what? I'm going to just cut the Archmage Charm. If we need an extra force, something to be a little quicker, we'll add it. We're not going to take too many things out for our counter. So, yeah. I'm pretty high on the collective brutality right now, but you know what? Since you said it, let's do it. And let's add another Archmage Charm. What we'll do, theory behind this is that if we get rid of an Archmage Charm here, or we add it in at 3, we can attack and grab 1 or 0 drops from our opponent. That's not a bad idea. All right, I kind of like this list. I like it enough to go grab some cards here, and then we'll get to a little deck and start.